from Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back-to-back bombs, from Junior J, Joey, and Edgar with Randy, A-Rod, Dan, and the Sheriff, to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C, to King Felix, Kyle Cruz, and Cano, to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. My, oh my, our Mariners are struggling big time. We are now 1-1 in the NBA Finals. You know I'm going to be rooting for the Pacers. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. We got to give a huge shout out to super producer Indy out there in Nashville, Tennessee, rocking the ones and twos. That's Vaden Podcast Services. Vaden Podcast Services. They're bringing the show to life. Got to give a huge shout out to all the homies in the live chat. We're back at a more normal Sunday evening this week. My man RG is on the grind big time last Sunday, so we had to pull a shorty on Monday. But man, he brings it hotter than an Albuquerque summer. RG, what's going on, bro?
It's hot out here already. But that's just what I get for living in the desert. It's time to go to work.
Let's do it, baby. Well, the Mariners aren't doing work. They're getting worked out here, man. And the last time we talked, we were actually doing pretty well. In first place, winning series. And now, all of a sudden, in the last couple of weeks, our favorite team has completely fallen apart, including Tyson Baxter and his Orioles coming across the country to sweep us in 3 games. RG, man, talk to me about the Seattle Mariners ball club, bro.
I could have sworn we made an agreement before we began this show that Tyson Baxter and all like him would be banned from the chat for 1 week before he's allowed to start talking shit. But nah, man, glad we gave you a glimmer of hope while ours began to fade. Just the way that baseball goes. Man. Was happy to have Kirby come back, and then he proceeds to take a 103-mile-an-hour line drive off the face. Thank God for Cal Raleigh and his MVP caliber season, or things might be really in disarray for us. But it's the first week of June, and it's not really what we wanted to start with. Thank God we were able to get a win to end the losing streak, but now we're back looking up at Big Brother. We're back looking up at the wild card. Got to figure out a way to right this shit, man.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So I always talk about RG is you can't win the season in the first month or two, but you sure as shit can lose it. And I think the Orioles are a case in point right now because they got off to such a shitty start. They're still 12 or 13 games below 500, but that's a surging baseball team with really talented players. And they came into Seattle and put it on us, man. They're not going to be able to make the playoffs. And that's why I always say you just got to stay in it long enough. That team's going to get hot, but they dug themselves too big of a hole to get out of. But we're digging ourselves a huge one, RG. I'm looking at this shit right now. The Mariners have lost 4 out of the last 5 series. They've lost 5 out of their last 6 games, and they've gone 5-11 in their last 16 ball games. And in the last 30 days, RG, the Mariners are in the bottom 5 or worse in every major offensive category.
Well, we knew we were going to struggle. It's what should have been expected when we didn't make moves necessary to shore up our offense in the offseason. But, I mean, we're here and we got to ride with these guys. We're still waiting on the return of Robles. Julio's been decent. Arozarena shows signs of life. I know a lot of people were saying they should give up on him already, but I think that Young has done he's done a decent job. He's done a decent job. I mean, we didn't expect him to come in and completely bridge the gap of everything that we were lacking. And the dude went 2 for 4 the other day with a couple timely hits. We're still getting some timely hits time and then from Rowdy Tejas. So you just got to weather the storm. It's not even the official beginning of the dog days of summer, but we're really not off to a good start. Bullpen is still shaky. It was good to see Munoz have some confidence in his slider today, especially in that last at bat against Trout, because you know that he has a career of killing the Mariners, and especially in a spot like that, I was expecting the worst, but he was able to get some good movement and keep Trout at bay to get us the win that we needed. But we knew where this was going to be. We knew what we were going to end up talking about tonight. We know how this is going to go. But we just gotta hope for good luck and play some better ball. That's really all we can do at this point.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I've been huge on the Rowdy train this year, but I'm honestly about to jump off RG. And I'm just looking at this at the combination at first base. They have a negative 1.1 WAR with a combined 190 average and a combined 544 OPS. I can't say it enough, man. You have to have production out of first base. You don't take a first baseman, you don't put him out there for speed. You don't put him out there for glamorous fielding like an Omar Vizquel. You put a dude at first base at any level of baseball because he can fucking hit. And we're not getting that, man. And maybe I'm dreaming. Maybe I'm tripping. I think you're right. Maybe I should have expected more of this from the squad. But I have a little bit of a solution here, man. Dylan Moore. If he is not at another position, I want to see him in the lineup because his stats aren't great, but everyone says that Dylan Moore sucks against lefties, or excuse me, he sucks against right-handed pitching. Dylan rakes against the lefties. But against right-handed pitching this year, man, a 247 average and a 670 OPS, that's not good. That's really not even average, but it's way better than the production we've been getting out of first base. We might have to throw Dylan Moore in there. Ty Locklear kind of struggled in May, but he still is hitting 285 with a 795 OPS this year for Tacoma. There might be a couple answers, RG, but I want to give a shout out to Seattle Sports Blog who I first saw this notion. So I want to ask you the question, man. Should the Mariners, okay, I want to preface this. The Arizona Diamondbacks are below 500 and they're in the toughest division in baseball, arguably. There's probably no way they can climb the three teams ahead of them. Should the Mariners try to make a move to bring back a Eugenio Suarez?
They're only 3 games below 500, and they're 7.5 games back. I wouldn't say it's an insurmountable pass for them because they do still have plenty of series with the teams ahead of them, in front of them, and with someone like Gino, it gives them a better chance to be able to do it than it would without him. I don't see them making the move to let us get Gino back. And if they do make a move, they're going to try to give him to someone where they could get something out of it. And I don't really see us really being willing to give enough up to be able to go and get it. So we're kind of damned if we do. We're kind of damned if we don't. Just don't know where it's going to come from, and trying to think of who may be available somewhere else and see what Trader Jerry can try to get done. And just trying to think about this off the top, I'm kind of running out of some options. Don't really know where he could get some good production from, some consistent production from first base. But again, we tied our hands, and that's the one thing I don't like about cheering for the team that I'm in love with. We've had this window where we have been 2 players away for the last 3 seasons now. You can even call it 4 since we've come out basically of COVID. 2 players away from being able to be a perennial powerhouse, playoff making team. And every time we have that opportunity come across, we shoot ourselves in the foot. I get that Teo and Gino struck out a lot. We let go of them. Those guys go and find tremendous fucking resurgence wherever it is that they go. And when we try the resurgence, I love Mitch Garber. And maybe I love him because he's from Albuquerque. But he hasn't had anywhere near the production for us that he's had for Texas. I have a love hate relationship with Leotis Taveras. I think he's been good in some spots, but can he play first base? Maybe we stick him over there. I'm not mad at putting Dylan Moore out there, but as one of the guests on this show said to you in a previous format, if we're living and dying with Dylan Moore's production, we're pretty much just dead and just trying to hang on to life support. I It's just so frustrating. It just seems that the diamonds are just one strike away in the mind, and our pitchforks are no longer sharp enough to get through. And I just it's just annoying. It's just really really annoying. Again, I'm trying to think of who maybe we can go out and try to make a move for, and then we don't really have the assets to go out and go do that unless we finally are willing to break up with some of these kids in the farm system. And then when they've gotten up, they haven't been the best. So I just think we're stuck in the mud right now, and I don't know how else to be able to get this done other than to get Robles back, get Log the OG back. Kirby showed some signs of life tonight, and just hope that the next 119 games have been better than what it's been recently over the last 2 weeks.
Those are all great points, man. And for me with the Mariners, I love this team. They don't love me like I love them, though. That's just a
Not at
fact
all.
of life. That's just a fact of life. There's a lot of good shit going on in the live chat right now. And I want to rewind a little bit because Tommy's talking about Corbin Burns is going to have Tommy John with Arizona. That's a major loss. That you lose your ace for a year. That's a critical loss. Let's go back to when we traded Robbie Ray, RG, and you didn't like it at the time, rightfully so. That was a financial move and also a fan favorite type of move rather than a winning move. And my huge issue, RG, is that if you trade a pitcher while he's recovering from Tommy John, you are trading him at his lowest value. If the Mariners actually wanted to get what they wanted out of Robbie Ray, you have him rehab with you. You have him return with you. You have him start with you. Robbie Ray is fucking balling out this year in the year 2025. Not only could we use him, if we saved him for that time, you could trade him for a major, major player right now. Not on a hoping and dream on Mitch Haniger right there. O'Neill Cruz from Pittsburgh, there's no way. Pittsburgh's not going to deal him to us. I don't even know if the Space Needle and T-Mobile Stadium would get a dude like that. But Mariners lifer, Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz, a first baseman from Tampa Bay. We've wanted him for a couple of years now. Maybe they can finally part with some of these prospects. I know what you're thinking, bro, with your quote right there, but we got to trade a couple of these guys, man. Half of the prospects aren't going to pan out anyways. As the organization, you have intimate knowledge about these players and the people they are, so you can try to make better educated guesses on who's going to make it and who won't. And let's remember, the mighty Jarek Kelenic has already gotten sent back down to AAA this year. So I mean, there's no promises with these prospects. As much as I talk them up, a huge reason I do that, RG, is because it's capital to move with, man. And you create a big farm system, not just to bring out some of your own players, knowing you're going to trade them to bring in some dudes that you need.
Robbie Ray, 8-1, 2.44 ERA, 87 strikeouts,
Oh,
and a WHIP WHIP of 1.07.
woohoo! Ballin'.
I just don't understand. I know these guys are smart. I know these guys have been in the business for a while, but what is it? What I would love to be a fly in the room when some of these decisions are being made. Is it what you're really showing me is that you were taking advantage of those people who live in your zip code, who live in your area code, who are so loyal to this team, and for some reason, they show up week by week by week and keep those stands at a more filled at more than a 60% clip, giving money to these guys' pocket. And the one thing that they will not do with your loyalty is make an investment to actually make your team better. The worst drug dealers. that have ever existed in the world. And honestly too, we put a lot of the blame of this on the front office too. A lot of this is just these guys aren't performing.
Yeah.
These guys just aren't performing when they need to. We need consistent effort from everybody up and down, positions 1 through 9, bullpen pitchers 1 through 5, we starting pitchers 1 through 5, and we'll fall in love with them. And but Kirby's been hurt and he's been hurt. Well, where's the next guy up mentality? Where's the next guy up mentality? Do we do? It's like we're really, really gonna wait till the end of the All-Star break, see when everybody it is comes back, give it a good 2 week run, and hope to God that we've scratched out some wins. Or else we would have held Castillo for too long, didn't pull the move on getting rid of one of the big five when we could, let go of Robbie Ray too early, gave up on Gino and Teo, and just have completely ruined any of this momentum that we've had. Not to mention wasting money for a year to pay Haniger for you not paying him when you should have.
Mm.
You had no problem not paying Kyle Seager, and you didn't bring him back to just give him some money to not come out there and do anything, but you felt bad enough to do it for Mitch Haniger. Just bad decisions. Just bad decisions are going to end up killing us. And I would almost say we're like the Knicks of Major League Baseball, but at least they've made the conference finals and the playoffs at a consistent clip over the last 5 years, and then got rid of their coach.
Shit, that's wild. I want to get into that in a minute here, but God, pro sports can be a bitch sometimes, man. You get paid that much, so I don't feel bad for you. But I think Sunday Evening Media has a great point, man. Leo Rivas got sent back down to AAA, and the dude's hitting 283 with a .5 WAR RG. I don't see many other dudes on the club doing shit like that. And he's a spark plug. He provides speed. He puts the ball in play. Dude, this is the kind of shit that confuses me about this team. But I have a question for you, RG. Just a minute ago, you were talking about our 3 year window we've had recently. And one thing we know in all pro sports, these contention windows open and close quicker than we ever think they will. I have a sinking feeling in my stomach, RG. Have the Mariners already missed their window?
The same thing about baseball that makes you laugh can also make you cry. And also in the same reverse, the same thing that makes you cry can also make you laugh. It's June 8th. There's still 2.5 months to really be able to answer that question.
Mhm.
And those days get longer by the minute. But it definitely, to me, is now or never with us. Not with this front office. It's either this year or bust. I was screaming when they tried to sell us that 54% bullshit. That's just a metric that some guys who thought that they were smarter than history went and pulled out because there were going to be some people who would buy it. And God, and a whole lot of people who we used to be in contact with buy into that. And I remember sitting here and screaming, if we went back to 2001, we had hit that metric 7 times and it equaled us one playoff appearance that was in the latter part of that 22-year experiment.
Mm.
Now I get it. Jerry and them hadn't been in power long, for all of that. But a lot of that has come during their reign. We are in what, year 10 of the Pepito project? And yes,
Sounds about right.
he has built us a great starting pitching staff. He has built us some great prospects. But none of that has gotten us any type of reward that we've wanted to be, other than for some reason the fan base just keeps pouring in cash and pouring in cash and pouring in cash. And the one thing that we want them to do with the investment that they're pouring in cash in, they're never going to come close to that. Was reading this article on the new economics of baseball that for most of these owners, the real estate around the stadium is more valuable to them than their team is. And yes, we're not set up in Cobb County like the Braves are, where they were able to take a lot that was nothing and then turn it into a 365-day moneymaker for the organization. But it seems like we're trying to, and I get capital projects are necessary to be able to bring other revenue in, but that can't just be your sole focus. Your sole focus has to be the thing that got you to the dance, and that's that team.
Hmm.
Finally made the move to get rid of Service. And I'm not as anti-service as everybody else was, just because I knew what Service's role was. Service's role was to do what you're told, and
Hmm.
this computer's your boss. And he wasn't really good at human interaction. I completely get that. But Dan just seems like he's a different animal, and we're still trying the same things with Dan that we were doing with Scott. Hard times.
Dude, I got a big problem with Dan though right now. And I do like him overall, but I have one major issue, dude. And a lineup this inept, dude, we can't have Cal Raleigh batting cleanup. Like this isn't the 90s anymore, bro. Cal Raleigh needs those extra 50 or 60 at bats per year if he was batting second. And you know what? I don't care that he would slow Julio down on the bases. Dude, Cal is playing at such a level compared to all of baseball, let alone this lineup that's inept at times, man. Cal needs to get more at bats. The dude has 26 home runs and an OPS over 1,000, man. It's just freaking ridiculous, bro. Get Cal second in the lineup, man. Period.
The Dodgers bat Otani first for a reason, to make sure he sees enough pitches every game to be able to go out and do what he needs to do. Just like you said, man, maybe he is in love with the way the nostalgia carried him and some of the teams he was on throughout the course of his career. But again, just a come to Jesus meeting is necessary, and I just wish that we were all on the same page. Either we're going for this as an organization from top to bottom, or stop wasting my emotions and just come out and tell me the truth. Don't improvise. Look me in my eye and lie to me if you have to, but just give me a sign that we're on the same page moving forward. Oh shit! I think we got some picked up somebody new. Why don't you go ahead and shout him out? Ty, welcome to the show tonight, my man.
Get raked. What's up, bro? If you want guys that are going to give their unfiltered takes on the Seattle Mariners, and I love these dudes up, ask anybody. I will love these dudes up because I love this squad. I have my whole life. But we'll also get down on them too. That's the beauty of baseball. But get raked. We got a great group in the live chat. Me and RG are here on almost every Sunday evening, and we love to chop it up. We go deep in the Mariners. We also go deep in the NFL when it's that time of year, and we touch on all things sports. We'll eventually get into that gross team in the blue down in Oklahoma in a minute, RG. But I was so high on the Leody Taveras. I was so high on him, and honestly, I was fucking wrong. There's a reason that Texas let him loose. The guy's hitting 174 on the season with a 470 OPS and a negative point .5 WAR. That's absolutely terrible in old school stats and new school stats. And the one thing I've noticed with the eye test, RG, is I'm not saying it's easy because it's extremely difficult, but Tavares cannot track the deep fly and find the wall at the same time. He drops and misses almost every catch at the wall. I know it's extremely difficult, but I mean, we've seen Julio make it with ease. We've seen Mikey C, Ichiro, of course, our favorite George Kenneth Griffey Jr. It ain't easy, but man, you gotta somehow get those balls. I don't want to just shit on everyone. Thank God Luke Rayleigh is starting a rehab assignment on Monday or Tuesday or so of this week because we need reinforcements in a bad way.
We do, and if he can come back and produce at the clip that he did, maybe he's the answer for us at first base. But we definitely need something to happen, and unfortunately, it's not going to be in the transaction world because we don't have enough bullets in the clip to make a difference. And they won't do what I've been willing to do for the last 10 years, is run up in somebody's house with a ski mask to get it done.
Well, this is an ownership
Mariners
group,
fall
but they're
apart like
mildly
normal
serious.
Texas Power Ranger, you dirty, rotten mother. All
Uh,
right.
we're coming. We're coming. I say that so unenthusiastically, though, right now, man.
Yeah, he got his bounce back. DeGrom actually showed looked like himself the other night. But Marcus Simeon looks like he plays for the Mariners, so maybe we got a spy in your camp holding y'all back,
Man, those long contracts, bro. Because that was a golden signing 2 years ago.
wasn't it? Wasn't it? And what did we do? We got in that same time we got dealt Abraham Toro, and people were begging for a reason to to try to sell us that he was Altuve in waiting. And how did that pan out for us? Then
Mhm.
we ended up with old with the wrong Urias. Then we ended up with the wrong Luis Arias, and but remember 3 years ago he hit this, and this, and this, and I believe he's dying somewhere in lower class baseball right now.
Shit, man.
Just
Dude, Houston hoodwinked us on that trade, man, for real.
and bamboozled.
Oh, for real. And I think these are some of the things that you need to take note. But Jerry, although I think he, oh, actually, I want to just skip all that for a second. Let's do grades. We haven't done this in a long time, man. Jerry DePoto's got a long track record right now. What do you think his grade is as Mariners GM?
His overall grade.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on who I'm looking. It depends on what side of the coin you're going to ask me to look at this from. If you're asking me about his importance to the bag, his importance to the bag is an A plus. Because he keeps fans coming in. They keep doing this, that, and the other around the state, and we just keep being good enough to keep those turnstiles moving. And Stan's pockets ain't hurt. If you're asking me about his importance to the bag, the dude gets an A plus. If you're asking me about his team building abilities and what he's doing to get us to the playoffs, not only should that dude drop out of high school, we'll make an agreement with you that we'll give you a diploma if you promise to never come around here again.
Dude, okay, we got a little history lesson here. Get Raked must be an old school fan. Because I'm not sure if you knew this or not, RG, but the Seattle Pilots were actually the first Major League Baseball team in Seattle. They played 1 year and then moved to Milwaukee and became the
Yep.
Brewers. And Lou Piniella was actually a Seattle Pilot. But
Very aware of that.
this is why in the 90s, you know my story, how I went to Husky Stadium and was passing out flyers from this grassroots group called the Hometown Fans, trying to keep the Mariners from getting moved to Tampa Bay. Mind you, this was before the Rays were there. And there was serious consideration that the Mariners were going to move to Tampa. They stayed in Seattle, and the rest is, well, kind of pathetic history, but they're still here. Jerry Dipoto, I'll give maybe
And
a
we got
C.
95, 97, and 2000, 2001.
There we go. And there we go. And we never made the World Series. In 97, we didn't even win a series in the playoffs, man.
Damn Indians.
Dude, for real
Damn,
though, from
damn it.
96, dude, from like 95 to 98, those Mariners lineups were like the best lineups I've seen in my life. So it makes you wonder how shitty was the pitching after Randy?
Well, we did have the A-list one, Jamie Moyer.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and we really didn't have a whole lot of bright spots after that. What I had always found strange was that it seems that the best offense that we ever had was obviously the 2001 team, because they, at this point in 2001, for those of you who may not be old enough to remember, weren't paying attention, at this point we already had the division wrapped up. It was you there, there was no doubt we weren't winning the division. But before we even got to the dog days of summer, just an astronomical lead that just kept growing and growing. And then all of a sudden, after the All-Star break, it was, wait a minute, we might actually have a shot at the wins record. And sure enough, went and got it done. But just like the 73 Golden State Warriors couldn't make it happen, but at least that team made the finals.
Yeah, no doubt.
We went and shit the bed in New York. And God, those were the days, man, because the rivalry was between us and the best.
Hmm.
Us and the best. 'Cause we went heads up with them for 2 straight years. And unlike the Boston teams, we just couldn't find a way to get it done.
Hmm.
And then you know what cursed us? Those ugly ass sleeveless jerseys.
Oh, jeez.
That's the death. That was the death of it all.
Okay, I got another question for you.
Yes,
So
sir.
this guy, I think we'd all probably call him a 4A player, but Dominic Canzone has a 296 average with 13 homers in Triple A this year. If we're, I mean, I think we're at the point we're searching for production. Harry Ford on the year 315 with an 893 OPS, 6 bombs. But here's the other thing though, Cole Young ripping it up in Tacoma is hitting 148 for the Mariners. He's had a couple bright spots, but what I'm saying is, man, it's a huge, huge, huge transition. Do we want to bring these guys up and give them a shot, or do we want to play it safe?
Seeing how Locklear and this experiment with Young is going, looks like we're going to take the safe, play a safe approach.
Mm.
But we have to do something. We have to do something. The longer we keep waiting, the more ground that we are losing. And us playing catch up, except for 1 year, has not gone the way that we needed to. We have to make something happen. Where it's coming from, that's why those guys get paid millions of dollars a year to figure this out. But from a fan's perspective, I'm banging my head against the wall because it's the same old story over and over again. I've said it numerous times. Being a Mariner fan is like reading Bambi and hoping you can skip over the pages where his mom dies.
It ain't for the faint of heart, man. And it's not going to be easy, dude. Going to Arizona and then Cleveland at home, Boston at home. The Cubs coming up around the corner. I think they might be the best team in ball right now. The road doesn't get any easier. So these guys need to turn it around ASAP. You said it a minute ago, though, man, and on the live chat also. Having George Kirby come back and being George Kirby again is enormous. We need guys to play big time ball right now.
Yeah, definitely having him come back needed today. Needed today. 14 strikeouts, 18 strikeouts as a team. Definitely needed it. Definitely needed a get right day to get the ship right. But the next few series, like you said, aren't going to be easy. Arizona's playing well enough, and they if you haven't got a chance to watch them on League Pass or anything else, they they're in some scrappy games, man. They're in some real scrappy games. Just even look to what they did to the Braves the other day. They were down 10-4 in the beginning of the ninth inning, and just ran off runs at a crazy clip. They probably scored just as many runs in a one inning, just like it seems that we score in a week sometimes. Just just went up there and oh god, it's crazy. And then they do got a decent young pitching staff as well too. I still like Zach Gallen. I still they get something out of Paft, however you say his last name. Losing Corbin Burns was major to him. And then even look at something like this. They've lost Goldschmidt and Christian Walker and still are finding ways to hang around.
Mm.
Hang around long enough. See, they're gonna get because the Giants and the Dodgers and the Padres are gonna come back to them a little bit, especially this week because the Dodgers and the Padres play each other.
Mm.
So it gives them something to shoot for. Yes, at the beginning of the week this week. I want to say maybe even start tomorrow or Tuesday. But yeah, Dodgers and Padres are going at it down in San Diego. So some teams in the NL West will fall back to them. So they're not completely out of it as well too, and they're going to play like someone trying to hang around the race should. Meanwhile, with us, once that ship starts sinking, it's just woe is us, and it just seems that the inevitability of what's going to happen just seems to take over everybody, from the fan base to the players. Just kind of tough to watch. It seems.
I'm with the guys on the chat, dude. I put Harry Ford at first base right now. I know it's a tough position, RG, But there's no way anybody convinced me otherwise that of every position on the diamond, that first base isn't the easiest to field. Put him out there, dude. We need to find production. And you're right. I don't think the trade partners are going to be easy to find, anyways. This is exactly what baseball wanted. They wanted more teams to be in the race. That's why they've added the extra wild cards, and it's proven to work. There's been more fan interest across the board down the stretch. The the result is, though, for the teams, it's much harder to make good trade deadline moves because owners don't want to just flush money down the toilet when they know if we're competitive down the stretch. We talk about it all the time with the Mariners. They're mildly serious. Our ownership group doesn't want to be shitty. If they're god awful, then they're only going to have 2 months of full houses. But if this team is competitive, I'm not saying good. If they're just competitive all year, then they get their money, man.
Makes it real tough. But if, like we said, it's June 8th, and we at least got 7 to 8 weeks before we really know how this is going to shake out. Harry Ford has played first and is on record as saying he is comfortable with the position. I say let's bring him up and give him a shot. Um, Now, I can't say that they would regret it if they trade him, depending on what it is that they got back for him. But how do you keep a prospect hot enough that someone else looks at him and sees value? Is it by keeping him down there where he's doing well, or do you bring him up to see what he could potentially be when he gets to the show? Did Locklear lose some of his shine because he came up and couldn't really bomb like we needed him to? Is the same thing about to happen with Young, so we're going to be hesitated with Ford? That's why I'm not a GM, man.
I would trade him if there was a difference maker available, though.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, depending on what we could get out of him, I say we move him. Well, we have to strike while it's hot, because if that guy
Yep.
hits a cold period, then he loses all value.
Yeah. You're so right what you just said too about Locklear and Cole Young, man. Because when guys come up and if they do shitty right away, fair or not, because I don't think it's fair, but their value goes down. It absolutely goes down. So here's the thing. I was talking about you trade Robbie Ray while he's recovering from Tommy John. You literally cannot get lower value out of a single player than when a pitcher's recovering from Tommy John. That's just terrible business. That's terrible business. But right now, we have a decision. The Mariners need to draw a line in the sand with the Harry Ford situation. And I don't really care what it is, to be honest, Archie. But what, 21, 22 years old, top 100 prospect, and in AAA he's hitting 315 with an 893 OPS. Right now you either bring him up and ride with him or trade him right now because his value is as high as it's ever going to be unless he becomes a star and you trade him after at that point. But as a prospect, this is his peak trade value right now.
Walking through landmines must be the hardest time a general manager and a front office staff can have, and it looks like right now that's exactly what we're trying to do. I I don't envy him, but I need something to happen because this fandom is driving me insane that we're having these same conversations year after year after year. It would be different if our track record wasn't this. But this is what our track record is, and that's what makes it extra frustrating too.
Mhm. It's Bill
God
Murray and
bless him, man.
Groundhog's Day, man.
You ain't never lied.
Mariner Slifer, dude, get rid of Solano already. The dude has a negative .6 WAR. That literally means you can bring up any schmuck from AAA and he can play that well, man. Seriously, I just am getting sick of this kind of experiment. You call them the reclamation projects, man, and it's crazy too. Solano's had a good average basically his entire career, but the dude's 37 years old, RG. Eventually, your smarts and savvy as a hitter are not going to mask your decreases in swing velocity. And I think that's clearly happening to Solano here. So hopefully the Mariners can at least have some balls, man. I'm gonna use the Seahawks for example. John Schneider has made and Pete Carroll made some bold moves in their careers together. A lot of them didn't work out, but at least they had the balls to make them. Your favorite GM right now, who is the current champion of the NFL, Howie Roseman, has never been afraid to put his balls on the table and make a bold move. Come on, Mariners. I honestly don't really care if it's bringing up the young guys or trading them all right now. Put your balls on the table and make a strong move.
I was listening to an episode of the Bomani Jones show the other day, and he said they were talking about playing blackjack. And there's two types of people that live in this world. There's those that hit on 16 and those who stay on 16.
Mm.
If you are not the type of man who is willing to live with the results, I mean, to take the shot, then you stay on 16. You're a gunslinger and you realize that sometimes that card that you're searching for is there, you hit on it. The book says stay for the benefit of the table. Fuck the table, because no other chip stack at this table is going to feed me and get me what I want. So I have to play for me, and I hit on 16. You take the dealer's bus card, it's a one-on-one game. A lot of us fall, playing blackjack, you fall in love with the fact that you think it's all of us against them. It's not,
Mm.
because there's nothing that Steve at the end of the table has, that Dave at the end of the table has, is going to help me out. I have to take this risk myself and hit on it. We got to do something. We got to do something. What's the use of going to a gunfight and walking away from the gunfight with holes in your chest and 12 bullets still in the clip?
Shit, the Mariners are walking up to the gunfight with a butter knife, bro.
Shit, they're asking. Here, I'll help you out real quick. Paying attention to what's going on in the chat, and we're thankful that you guys always stick around and ride with us when we have these special episodes after we're being entertained by sports on TV. My saying is this: when it comes to prospects, man, the prospects are suspect until they get up in the major leagues and actually perform, and not just in baseball and anything. It's having a bunch of seeds. It's having a bunch of seeds, and once upon a time in my life, there are some things that are legal in Washington that are legal in New Mexico. And I took my shot. I took a bunch of seeds that I had, put them in the soil because I had to see what's going on with them. 30 seeds, 13 females. But the females did what they had to do. And then I just rocked with the fruit that God gave me, and we had us a good time. But you never know what you have with those seeds until you plant them and let them grow somehow. And that's why I say that a prospect is suspect until you actually put them in a position where they perform. Because are we competing to have a top 5 farm club, or are we competing for championships? And if you like competing, and if you like the idea of having a top 5 farm club, if you live outside of Tacoma or Modesto, what the fuck's the point?
Mm. Dude, Tyson's telling us that the Mariners are a confusing team. They're a really confusing team, but in a way, it all makes sense, RG. This ownership group is, I can't say it enough, they're mildly serious.
Hmm?
It's not like they don't give a don't give a fuck, but they don't care a ton either. They're mildly serious. They want to win on their terms. They want to win on their terms. They want to have about the 15th to 18th ranked payroll. And the most important stat to them is, drumroll please, RG, the Mariners have led the league a few years in a row in the best profit margin. Ooh boy, if they're bringing in the best profit margin, it's hard for me to see anybody in the front office going. That's really the bottom line.
You remember the part of Moneyball before, everybody wants to talk about the stats of Moneyball, but there were some good stories in there that were just that were outside of how the team got built. When he's talking about how all these uber rich guys were in a rush to buy up baseball, baseball teams, because there's 82 nights a year where you can eat. And if you've done what the Braves have done, if you've done what, trying to think of other experiences I've been lucky enough to see how it is. It's not really like that in Houston. They don't really have a lot
What
about the
about
properties.
LA?
Okay, like the Padre. No, Dodger Stadium is up on a hill. Dodger Stadium's up on a fucking hill.
Haven't
Well,
you been
Dodger
to
Stadium
SoFi
has that
recently?
SoFi. Okay, well, we could even talk about the Rams with SoFi. They built that complex, and Netflix moved in, and the NFL offices also moved in. So Gronky is getting his money's worth out of paying the fine to St. Louis, losing the lawsuit to St. Louis, and then spending $2 billion on a facility because other tenants have moved in to help pay his rent. And not only that, the
Mm.
Chargers also pay the other half of it because they have 8 games that are there. So they are definitely taking the Patriots. The Patriots have built up the facility around Gillette where they have restaurants and bowling alleys and movie theaters and shit to make sure that they make money every day instead of just during the baseball season. Sorry, the football season. Um, Yankees have kind of done that. Yankees have put in a Hard Rock Cafe at the stadium that's open year round, and there are different things to make the stadium a destination point even without the course of the season. So to me, rebuilding the rooftop, rebuilding the warehouse across the street, looking to see what else they can get anywhere near is generating them money. So they're okay. So when you go to Lumen Field, and if you go to the warehouse that they recently turned into a bar across the street, you're putting money in Stanton's pocket, and that has nothing to do with the Mariners.
Mm.
That's that's bullshit. That's bullshit. But as a businessman, it's smart. But I'm not here to be a fan of your business acclimates because to me, you're still not Elon Musk. You're still not Jeff Bezos. You're still not Carlos Halou. You're not Steve Ballmer. I don't give a fuck about what you think that you've done. I want you to take care of my baseball team.
Good point. Good point. And honestly, RG, I've sometimes wondered recently if Stanton in the biggest air quotes possible for a millionaire or billionaire. I wonder if he's cash poor. Because if someone's net worth says like 1.5 billion, like someone like Stanton, that doesn't mean he has 1.5
Yeah,
billion
it
in the
doesn't mean
bank or
he's liquid
anything.
at
Like,
all.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
it
that
doesn't
could
mean
just
he's
be
liquid at all.
all of his businesses wrapped together. And so, for all we know, the Mariners owners in themselves can be cash poor in a rich person's sense. So it's everything's all relative. But you said it, man. And I guess I'll never know. But I would want the pride and the distinction of bringing a championship to my hometown, man. Do you know how Paul Allen felt when he finally passed away? He was born in the greater Seattle area and saved the Seahawks from moving to LA, turned them into a champion. Do you know how we feel about Paul Allen up here in the Northwest? And you know how people feel about Stanton. You want to talk about two different worlds, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The guy across the street is looked at as a regional hero. And you're looked at as one of the cheapest owners in all the sports. If I wasn't a Suns fan and had dealt with Robert Sarver for so long, I would say that you are the cheapest owner in sports. Okay, so take a look at the bullshit that everybody talked about with the Padres when ape shit, right? Oh, they did this, they did this, they did this. They're still competing. They are still in a position to compete. And for all intents and purposes, they had the Dodgers dead to rights last year in the playoffs. All down to a couple outs to be able to get it. It didn't go their way, but they're still in there competing.
Mhm.
Talk about the Mets doing this, that. Oh, Cohen did this, Cohen did that. If you, who did the Dodgers beat to get to the World Series last year, other than the fucking Mets? And then went out and tried to get better by going and get Juan fucking Soto. Just, some guys are here to play for keeps. Some guys are just here for the bag, and it's obvious that our group is just here for the bag.
Yeah, no doubt. It kind of dawned on me because you made such a good metaphor and analogy right there with the blackjack table, man. Major League Baseball is kind of like the poker table, bro. And some guys can afford to buy in with an enormous stack immediately. Some guys like us go to the poker table at the casino and we're the low stack immediately. Do we still
Mhm.
have a fighting chance? Yes. Do we have no margin for error anymore? Yes. And so the whole thing is that It's just so rare that you walk up to the table as the super small stack and actually win it all. It really rarely happens. Usually, the big dogs with the big stacks right away are the ones that do damage and they bully all the other teams. You said it before. There's only about one or two champions that have even been middle class in this century. So at a certain point, man, you got to play with the big dogs if you really want to get it.
The Washington Nationals are a World Series champion. The Colorado Rockies have gone to the World Series. Tampa Bay has gone to the World Series. The Florida fucking Marlins have 2 championships. Make a move to get it done. Make a move to get it done. We
I
need
mean,
it.
that
We
really
need it
is
now more than ever.
embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
We need it now more than ever.
No doubt. No
Need
doubt.
it now more than ever. You have nothing to sell me on. It and it's become even so. So take a look at it. I'm just going to throw my personal into this, and whether you give a fuck or not, my platform. I'm going to talk about it. I live approximately 1,300 miles from Seattle. At best, it's a 3-hour direct flight on Alaska Air to get there. And yes, I can be able to do that. You know how long it's been since I've actually wanted to come to Seattle and go to a Mariner game? The last 2 Mariner games I've gone when they've come down in my region to go to. I've gone to see them in Houston. I've gone to see them in Angel Stadium. I don't try to go up to Seattle to see games. Seattle's not a cheap city to travel to. Plane fares to Seattle are fucking crazy just because of all the tech business that comes in and out of there. And airlines know they can charge a premium price because someone's going to pay.
Mhm.
Hotel prices in Seattle are absolutely ape shit because of the tech market up there. And people, they charge a premium price because they know people are going to pay. Yes, they got the light rail that can take me from the Hilton that I like to stay at, that's right by the airport, straight up to Dockside Cannabis. So sorry, didn't mean to give away free advertising. But hey, back when I used to like to smoke weed, that's where I was going because it's a block away from fucking T-Mobile Stadium. Then I was going to Crab Pot to eat. Then I was going out to the fish stand because I want them to throw a tuna at me and I could catch it and throw it right back to the motherfucker. I don't let to go do none of that shit anymore because I don't want to help Staten out. The best way that you can stick it to some of these guys is to stop putting money in their pocket. And I know if you live in Seattle, that's impossible for you to be able to do because you're not going to just sit at home and opt to watch the games on TV. You're going to want to go to the ballpark.
Mm.
But that guy's not willing to make the same investment into you. When I was out in SoFi for the Eagles game, that's all we did was walk around and tell them, you know, the Rams don't love you. The Rams don't love you. The Rams do not love you. Well, what do you mean they don't love us? So this doesn't exist because of the Rams. This exists because other people are going to come here and pack this place out. 30% of you are Rams fans. The other 70% of everybody in that stadium on a Sunday is anything else other than a Rams fan because LA is a desirable place to travel to. They don't love you. They got prime real estate, baby. That's why they're here. They don't give a fuck about you. And I'm almost starting to feel the same way about my Mariners. They don't love me.
Oh, they really don't love you, bro. Hey, man. A minute ago, you were talking about Paul Allen and you called him like a regional hero. Let's transition. And although this owner broke my heart and millions of other people in my region, Clay Bennett is our regional hero to Oklahoma, and his basketball team just put a beat down on the Indiana Pacers to tie the series up 1-1. Give me your thoughts on the small market NBA Final Series.
8.7 million people watch game one. And it's one of the lowest ratings that they've had in all time. To miss what was really a good basketball game, depending on how you like your basketball played. Tyrese Halliburton was once called the most overrated player in the league. Now, that was a poll taken of about 90 players, and no one wanted to show their hand. But all that guy has done is, in each of the 4 series they've had, has had a game-winning shot in each of the 4 series that they've played.
Whew.
The MVP, Shea Gilgis Alexander, is a throwback. 32 points, and the guy doesn't take 10 threes a game. Everything is mid-range and getting to the bucket. Love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Guy stepped off the bench tonight. Alex Caruso gave him 20. I think this is a really, really fun series to be able to watch. And I hope it goes 7. The thing that's going to kill them is farmland versus farmland. And there's not enough regional eyes that are going to come to the table with it. And you have to be like a diehard fan of the NBA, kind of like I am, for this series to mean something to you. But it's good basketball being played.
Mm-hmm.
It's good basketball being played. The Pacers did get 3 happy tonight, but they also went in and stole one. So, they're playing with house money. Now they got the next 2 in Indianapolis. I'm excited for this series to keep moving forward and going through. Like I said, I'm a Suns fan. I'm old. I remember when Michael Jordan averaged 40 against us in the NBA Finals back in '93. Averaged 40. And Barkley had a 56-point game to keep us in the mix at all, or that series would have been a wrap. Then you got someone like Aaron Wiggins comes off the bench with 18 points, goes 5 for 8 for 3. It's been a good series to watch. If you like basketball, it's a good series to watch. If you like what basketball has become and just to see who can hit the most threes, you're not going to like this series. But it's also a lot of the reason why a lot of people have turned off the NBA, just because I don't want to see a 3-point shooting contest. I want to see guys be able to go in and have technique and skill win it, other than, their percentages say if we take 100 of these a game, we should make 38, and 38 times 3 is blah, blah, blah. Fuck math. But it's a good series to watch, man. And hopefully we get some good entertainment out of it. I know you have your personal feelings just because that blue should be yellow and green running around a Climate Pledge arena, but it also is a business too. And maybe had they have been more willing to make the move with Climate Pledge before it became Climate Pledge, these guys might still be running around up there. But I do think it's a travesty Seattle doesn't have an NBA team. They are going to talk expansion this year. You're still going to wait behind Vegas because they can't wait to put a fucking team in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And then hopefully you get one after that.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. There's so much great talent that comes out of this Pacific Northwest region for hoops as well, that I feel that the NBA needs to give back for all the region gives to them, man. But the one thing I noticed for game 2, man, is Oklahoma's defense is for real, dude. Like, the easiest way I try to diagnose a basketball game is how easy can you get your buckets. And everything for the Pacers was so fucking hard, dude. Every shot was highly contested. Every shot that the Pacers would make was still a very difficult shot. And on the other hand, OKC running and gunning, open shots, open lanes, and I gotta give a little bit of props. I was never a Chet Holmgren fan, but I don't think I knew what his game was, man. This dude's a better player than I ever thought he was.
He is. He just needs some size on him, because that lack of frame is eventually going to catch up with him. But their defense, man, Shea had 7 steals tonight.
Woo!
Shea had 7 steals. And depending on how good your sound system is or is not, the thing that got me the most is they're coming out of an inbounds play, and Alex Caruso, who might be all of 6'4", comes out of the huddle yelling, "I got Siakam." And Siakam is probably the most dangerous offensive weapon that Indianapolis has. And that little dude was taking it to him. Little dude was trying his best to take it to him. But he did that the last series too. Alex Caruso out there guarding Jokic. Just don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck. And I love that. I love that about him, man. I love that about him. So it's a good series to watch. Oklahoma City does play good defense. Indiana plays some underrated defense as well too.
Yes.
But their mentality is obviously scoring the ball, and role players play better when they get at home. So Indianapolis, Indiana Pacers have the next two in Indianapolis. So we'll see if guys like T.J. McConnell can come in and do a little bit better than they had before. Halliburton's going to need to make some shots.
Hmm.
Halliburton's definitely going to need to make some shots. He's going to need a 25-point double double with double digit assists in order to be able to keep them in it, because Lou Dort is just in his pocket
Ooh.
and Casey Wallace is just all over him. And then when he does get a glimmer of hope, they're just collapsing on him and making it just difficult for him and trying to make Siakam be the guy to beat him. But yeah, man, they got to do what they got to do when they get there, or this might not be a very long series. But Halliburton's definitely going to need to make some shots.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. My one suggestion for Indiana is to try to get Halliburton to play off the ball more. They might be able to free him up more if he's not being the primary ball handler, bringing the rock
Mhm.
up the court every time. Let's get him on a little pin down action. Let's get him running around a couple of screens. Give him some more space immediately to operate, and I think that can go a long way. But you couldn't be more right. The defense is stifling, but Indiana can't win this series if Halliburton's only averaging 15 a game.
Yeah, it'd be a tough stretch for them to go. Tough stretch for them to go. But the reason why we play the game, man. Wednesday night, ABC. Go on ahead and tune in, and then don't forget to follow us on Sunday to recap how the week went.
Let's go, Pacers! Come on, Indiana!
Oh man. So not only do we have the NBA finals going on, but I don't know if you followed any of it. Games 1 and game 2 of the Stanley Cup finals have been unfucking real.
Talk to me.
Unfucking believable. Game 1. Game 1. Edmonton jumps on them. Florida comes back. They get to overtime. Brad Marchand finds a way to get it in. Gives Florida a 1-0 lead. Then, no, I'm saying that wrong. I got it backwards. I got it backwards. Edmonton found a way to get it done in overtime and got the 1-0 lead. Then we get to game 2. Edmonton scores first. Then Florida proceeds to score 3 goals. And then Edmonton comes back. We're talking 5 goals in the first period. These guys just trading and trading and trading. Then we get to 19 seconds left in the game, and the latest goal to ever be scored in the Stanley Cup Finals to send it into overtime is scored by Edmonton, and we get double overtime out of that game. It has been fantastic to watch. Hockey is just amazing. The speed that they move. Connor McDavid with the puck is like Iverson with the ball coming down the paint, man. It's something to behold with it. And then the physicality of it as well too, just mixing it up, checking people across the board. Now they do get a little petty and they mix it up a little too much just because they know they're on TV, but it's been fantastic and been fun to watch. So hopefully we get some really good games out of that when we get back to Tuesday night. Um, no, you're not a big hockey fan, but hey, man, you do got the Kraken, and the Kraken had a good run their first year, man.
Yeah, I mean the Kraken. They're actually kind of a mess, to be honest. But that's fine. I mean, I'm tuning into playoff hockey more for the action than the team. I mean, I'm a Kraken fan. Don't get me wrong, but it's nothing like how I cheer for all the other Seattle teams because I grew up with those squads, man. I grew up with Griffey. I grew up with the Raymond and the Glove, and Seahawks were actually kind of garbage when I was a kid. That's neither here nor there. You're so right though. The speed plus the physicality. That's where it is for me.
Yeah, man. Then even today we had an amazing French Open final. And I know we have never talked tennis, but I got caught up in sitting here watching this between Yannick Skinner and Carlos Alcaraz, numbers 1 and number 2 in the world right now. Yannick Skinner is the world's rate number 1, but the guy he can't beat is the guy who's number 2 right behind him. Had a 2-set lead on him with the championship on his racket, which means if he wins this next game, he wins it. And Alcaraz not only comes back, gets it to go to the fifth set. The fifth set goes 6-6 into the tiebreaker, and Alcaraz just jumps him. Just jumps him. And there's nothing else to be had in it. 5 hours and 23 minutes later, it's just Carlos
Jesus.
Alcaraz repeats as French Open champion. It was good TV, man. It was good TV. It had all the drama because there was even a point where Carlos Alcaraz had the championship on his racket, and Skinner came back down from 2 games to force it to the winner take all deciding match. So yeah, it was just a good week full of good sports. Even the horse race, the Belmont went down. You had a Sovereignty, the Kentucky Derby winner, against Journalism, the Preakness winner, and they came around the stretch, and they're the 2 horses at the top of the field, and Sovereignty just pulled on him. So he becomes, I want to say he's, if I'm quoting this right, he's the 5th horse that has won the Kentucky Derby, not competed in the Preakness, and then come back and won the Belmont. So 2 of the 3 legs of the Triple Crown, which just makes you think, what had they been willing to give him the short turnaround, and he might have been able to get it done. But to me, when that comes down, that's just a love for the animal, because that's a hard thing to ask them to be able to do, is to compete in the Derby and then turn around and have them run 2 weeks later in the Preakness. There is a larger gap between the Preakness and the Belmont, and they were just looking out for the livelihood of the horse and not overbeating him. But Journalism competed in all 3, and he did get the nod in the Preakness, and then just finished runner up. So, don't feel bad for those guys at all. They're about to go out to a farm and do what every man would love to do the rest of his life: get paid to make babies.
Woo, baby. A real stud. A real stud.
Yes, sir.
Man, there's 2 things I love right now, RG. I love all of the football banter on the live chat, and I love your knowledge of sports, man. You are a wealth of knowledge I can't even comprehend, and I freaking love it, bro.
Dude, I love sports, man. It brings people together like nothing else. And to be able to talk a little bit of all of it, it opens doors and barriers, man.
Mhm.
It opens doors and barriers. And I will say this for those of you in the live chat: I see y'all are jumping on football already because football is the hottest thing. Uh, you gonna have to come up in Philly and snatch that Super Bowl out of our hands, and I don't want to hear none of y'all say shit until it gets done. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Oh! The Seahawks are coming.
If this was Madden,
Nah, man. Oh, just wait. Just wait. You guys somehow lucked into the Super Bowl there. I don't know how y'all got it done. A bunch of
luck into the
sorry
Super Bowl.
bums. The Broad
Luck into
Street
the Super
bums.
Bowl.
The Broad Street bums out there in Philly.
Man, you don't want none of this, Tay Williams. Just remember, the last time the Cowboys won something, the internet wasn't even cool then. Shit. All Philly does is destroy dynasties. Ask the Patriots and the Chiefs, baby.
Oh, man.
That'll be all right. Cowboys will be good again if we're talking like the Oklahoma State Cowboys, maybe.
Oh.
It's all right. We don't have to beat Drew Lock. We don't have to beat Drew Lock. Last time that I checked, uh, y'all didn't make the playoffs either, baby.
Hey, we're taking moral victories up here, man. Get out of here.
Just remember, Marshawn Lynch on the 2, and you pass the ball to Malcolm Brown.
We are probably on the 1 yard line, but hey, who's counting? It is crazy when
Man,
your favorite team is part of the most infamous play in Super Bowl history.
sure is. Sure is, man. Couldn't beat Russell either. It's okay. Where's Russell at now? He's just a distant memory. And the last time that I checked, 2 Super Bowls is more than one. So go back and get in line.
And we're gonna tie you in the next 2
If,
years.
if we're talking bird teams with championships, only the Ravens can speak to us. You guys got lucky the NFL paid Peyton Manning to throw that Super Bowl.
Oh please. Oh please. There was nothing the NFL wanted less in its history than to have a team from Seattle embarrass the Golden Boy quarterback.
Hey, Mariners lifer, raise your hand if your team has beat Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl.
Man, hey Indy, can you mute this dude? Indy, can you mute this motherfucker over here? I've had it with this dude.
Oh man, sports talk is fun until you realize that we at the top of the total poll, and y'all are still a JV team playing Little Lake Stevens High School football this year.
Hey, don't. Lake Stevens has won like 3 out of 4 state titles now, bro.
Man, they better than the Seahawks too.
Man, you're just coming from the top
Man.
rope, man.
Hey man, it happens, man. You come with the king, you bet not miss.
Chris Benoit flying headbutt.
Hey, but I ain't killed nobody.
Yeah. Oh man. I feel
Oh
you, Get
man.
Rate. Seahawks D is coming. We're coming this year.
Yep, y'all will be real good on Madden.
If Indy's playing, don't ask me.
Oh man, anything else you got for the people?
Shout out to all the homies in the live chat, man. That energy y'all bring, we really appreciate it.
Always, always. This is always man, I would want to sit here and just go ham on you. Go ham on you. Blitzed him 6 times, sacked him 6 times, and didn't call one blitz. Shit.
Dude,
You
that's
got
a
a lot
Vic
to go
Fangio
after.
wet dream, man. Jeez.
Got a lot to come after, man. Got a lot to come after. My oh my, it's another sports podcast. It's brought to you by the good folks of Vaden Podcast Services, making this thing happen each and every Sunday. Shout out to our super producer Indy and the whole team at Vaden Podcast for making us look like $1,000,000. Don't forget you can catch us live each and every Sunday afternoon here on YouTube. If we are running late, and we'll postpone the show for watching the finals or a good game or something like that, especially during Sunday night football season, we'll always post it up on our socials. We ask that you follow us on our socials at My Oh My, another sports podcast, ASP. My Oh My ASP. You can follow us here on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, as well as anywhere you like to get your social media from. We also want to give a shout out to our social media director, Miss Katie Matsumoto. For those of you who cannot join us here in the live chat on Sundays, the episodes come out each and every Tuesday morning on whatever platform it is that you like to get your favorite podcast from. Go ahead and check us out. My Oh My, it's another sports podcast. Get baked, man. Go on ahead and just hit that subscribe button while you're here on YouTube, and just come on ahead and follow us each and every Sunday night while we're here. If I can't make it because of my work schedule, Ty is always going to be here to keep that sports knowledge going. Shout out to our special guest contributors who fill in when I'm not available. My homie Jerry B6, man, where you at? It's time we get you back on the show. Again, we thank everybody for rocking with us in the live chat. We thank you for doing what you do. A big shout out to super producer Indy for making us be here and making us sound like $1,000,000. The dude on the other side of the screen rocking his hat backwards like he's King Griffey, that's my man Ty Talks, representing Lake Stevens, Washington. The guy in Mother Control at the Central Board down there in Nashville, Tennessee, that's the homie Indy. Don't forget to check out his music page on YouTube, Death to Indy, and going ahead and rock some of his tracks. I'm your boy RG, representing the Cinco Cero Cinco from the bottom of the mat, New Mexico. And we're happy to have you each and every Sunday for another live episode of My Oh My. It's another sports podcast.